Hey, welcome to the channel. We hope that you enjoy today's stories and check out the chapters on the video to see all the stories for today. But before we get into this video, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon to get notified when we release a new video. So let's get into the video.
How could a man protect themselves against false R-word accusations?
Experience 1. In a lot of ways, protection against false R-word accusations comes down to making similar choices to the ones you'd make in order to try to avoid being R-worded. Most R-word is not committed by a completely random, unknown stranger who jumped at the victim out of nowhere. Likewise, most false accusations and attempts at destroying your life don't come from someone random and unconnected to you. People who are out to take advantage of someone by sexually assaulting or by falsely accusing tend to pick a target who shows a willingness to give them an unwise and unearned amount of trust, then violate it, or B. Pick their target and try to get them into a compromising situation and then use intimidation tactics or blackmail to try and control the outcome. In my opinion, the best way people can protect themselves from predatory people, meaning both assaulters and false accusers, is to be very hard to put in any place you don't intend to be in the first place. Be extremely selective about whom you try to have sex with/agree to have sex with. Don't get drunk or high with total strangers. Don't mix alcohol or other drugs into your sexual activities if you don't have a well-established and trusting relationship with the person and you don't know them well. Don't be touchy and overly physical in mixed company and get yourself a reputation. Because unfortunately, certain people will twist that. These people will accuse a woman who does this of being a promiscuous woman who's asking for assault, and they'll accuse a man who does it of being a creep who's trying to cop a feel. Don't be flattered or charmed into letting your guard down by people who come on to you or flirt with you in weird circumstances, example, work environments. Be guarded and take time to get a read on them in multiple situations, even if they seem innocently interested in you and down for whatever. Experience 2. Don't go to parties, don't walk home alone drunk, don't be alone with a woman while drunk, don't. Basically, just follow the advice society always tells women to take to avoid being R-worded. Experience 3. When I was 18, I went to a party. There was a girl there that seemed interested in me. For a little pretext, I was large, around 6'3" and 225 pounds at the time, and had just turned pro as a boxer. It sounds funny to say, but at the time I was somewhat of a local celebrity. I was well known in my age group. Had a number of newspaper and TV interviews done, the big question being whether I was going to turn pro or go to the Olympics. Anyways, met a girl, a year younger. She was interested in me. Flirting. Sitting on my lap. Asked me to follow her to the bathroom, etc. We ended up hooking up, as some teenagers did. The next day I got a phone call from a friend that the police were looking for me. I had no idea what happened or why. Near as I could figure, after several years, she was supposed to be babysitting. Left when she was done and instead of going home went to a party and stayed out all night. Her mom started screaming at her when she got home. Trying to get herself out of trouble, she claimed she was R-worded the night before. Her mom freaked, called the police, and instead of admitting she lied, she went ahead with the false claim. I was arrested. Face again plastered over local newspapers. Lost a lot of money in sponsorship. The money I wasn't worried about. But I was attacked on 3 separate occasions. All 3 I was blindsided. All 3 times it was multiple attackers. One was 5 or 6 people. One I was struck with a beer bottle, and the third time I was hit with a club of some sort. From the day I was arrested until it went to trial, it was 19 months. The trial lasted 3 days. Between her initial statement to the police, the preliminary hearing, and the trial, she had 4 different stories about what happened. 1, claiming we were messing around, and I refused to stop. 2, similarly, I became violent, she had no marks. 3, claimed I drugged her. I understand that's 3. The 4th was a variation of her second claim. But the location she claimed the assault took place changed from the bedroom to the backyard. She had hickeys on her neck, I didn't do them, in her photos from the hospital. Claimed on the stand that she never let anybody do that to her and that they were marks from me grabbing her, then shows up on the 3rd day of trial with a scarf on and hickeys on her neck.
Do you like listening to these stories? Do you want to hear more of them? Then click that like button, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. And check the description for links to more videos and interesting stories.
She claimed I'd bit her arm. There was a bite mark, but it was small and perfectly round. It's similar to what a 3-year-old would do, like the one she had been babysitting. She had blood work done. She had THC and nothing else. Although the exam was done the following evening, I know she did drink that night, we all did. But she definitely wasn't drunk. Long story short, I went through hell for 19 months. The jury acquitted me. After 7 minutes. Yes, 7 whole minutes of deliberation. I thought that would be the end of it. And I would be vindicated. I was wrong. The local newspaper ran a very small article on the 5th page. It's pretty crappy compared to the multiple front-page articles about my arrest. In the 3 years that followed, I had, I'd guess, close to a dozen fights in the street over it, including one that resulted in an arrest and conviction. I lost $18,000 in lawyer fees and another $25,000 in sponsorship. And probably what could have been another $25,000 in fights. My name, years later in my hometown, was always followed by "didn't he R-word some girl?" Harassment followed after that. Eventually, I left my hometown and settled somewhere else. The big question I get is, what happened to the girl? Nothing ever happened to her. Not for the false accusation against me. Or the other 2 times she claimed she was R-worded. It's made me very untrusting, though. Anytime I hear a woman claim she was assaulted, I find myself doubting them. I know her, she wouldn't do that. People said the same thing about the girl who accused me also. It was years before I could actually be alone with another woman. I fell into a bad bout of depression, alcoholism. 17 years later, I was diagnosed with PTSD from it. The allegations, the attacks I suffered, shame, everything. My advice: get a lawyer. A good one, and no matter what, don't lie to your lawyer. Experience 4. If you live in a country with a fair judicial system, always have in mind that you are innocent until proven guilty. They will try to insinuate it's a lost cause and that it's in your interest if you just admit the guilt, they will pressure you, etc. It's all a tactic. That her word against yours doesn't work. She is the one that has to have evidence, not the other way around. Hire a lawyer and until there, refuse to talk or talk as little as possible. Experience 5. Try to gather as much evidence as possible. If you slept together, and afterwards there is an accusation made, try to get screenshots of text messages right after, or at least some evidence that it was mutual. If you weren't with them in the first place, try to keep evidence of what you were doing at that time, and where you were. Would be nice to see with whom. And for the possible gossiping and blaming, there is not a lot you can do, I think. Just plead your innocence. Experience 6. Get a good lawyer if the deed is already done. Better yet, only have intercourse within the confines of a loving relationship, and the chance of this happening drops substantially. Experience 7. Text follow-up after the date telling her you just got home, you had a good time, and insert quick recap of the events. If she says she also had a good time, this would later help prove you didn't do what's being alleged. Experience 8. You might win the legal case, but the public eye is still brutal as hell. If you get accused, your reputation is royally screwed. And unfortunately, there is no way to fix that large scale. 1. Experience 9. Make it unbelievable. Be a good, stand-up guy and soon enough you'll be known as that. Good character witnesses are handy in these kinds of situations. 2. Have a very serious relationship. Less necessary but useful. If you have a wife or girlfriend to whom you are clearly deeply devoted, it is less believable that you would seek out anyone else. 3. Don't seek out anyone. The whole idea of the best prevention is abstinence isn't just about contraception. If you don't sleep around, it will be harder to prove that that kind of thing is even on your mind. 4. Know a good lawyer. Find one with experience in these kinds of situations and a track record of success. 5. Remember you have a right to consent. If someone is violating that so they can later blame you for the situation, report them first. Even if it goes nowhere, it will be that much harder for her to claim you were the one that made advances. 6. Don't hang around the wrong crowd. If you're close with someone who is under similar allegations, you're going to look a whole lot more guilty. 7. Don't be famous. Celebrities are the prime targets for false accusations of all kinds, especially sexual assault claims. So long as you can minimize the incentive to lie about you, they'll probably leave you alone. 8. Also, alibi. Know where you were and who you were with at the time of the alleged assault. The more you can prove it, the better. Experience 10. As a man who was accused of R-word, the truth is you can't. While I was able to prove my innocence to the police by providing a swath of screenshots that indicated we were in a consensual sexual relationship, you'll never truly protect yourself from the court of public opinion. I was advised against releasing my screenshots and making a public statement via social media, as this could then weaken my position legally and create further problems if it should go to court. 2 years I waited to speak out. By that time my MH nosedived as I saw some of my closest friends and family turn their backs on me, compounded further by her friends creating a personal witch hunt to inform my employers, even getting me fired from one company, and any new relationships I would try to pursue. By the time I did speak out, she had already won 2 self-deletion attempts. Anyways, I'm in a better place now. I have a loving fiancé and a great friendship circle who know everything about me should she come creeping out to get me again.
We hope you enjoyed listening to today's stories. If you want to see more stories, check out these videos or check the links in the description for more videos. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And ring that notification bell.